let's go over weather conditions and packing tips for Run Disney races. This is part 2 of my Run Disney video series. In a previous video, we covered the registration process as well as travel arrangements. For this video, let's go into more detail about the weather conditions at Disneyland and Disney World, as well as important items to pack for your race.
So regarding weather conditions, I thought maybe we should talk about that in Disneyland. Okay, so at the time of this video, Disneyland has only 2 races they do throughout the year. The first one is end of January, beginning of February, and the next one is basically Labor Day weekend. So the January-February race, it's actually probably one of the best times of the year to race. It is unfortunately very cold, so I want to make sure I don't run into anybody. The weather's about in the 40s, so you will probably take at least an entire 5K to warm up. So just be aware of that. Just dress in layers and try to stay as warm as you can when you're in the corrals before you start your race. So the next race is Labor Day weekend, which is usually like August, September. That's actually one of the hottest times of the year in Southern California, and it ain't no joke. It's pretty brutal that time of year. So it can get into the hundreds, so just be careful. When it comes to your run, make sure you hydrate. Definitely take care of yourself. Also, one thing to keep in mind is if it rains in Anaheim, they won't cancel the race unless there is thunder and light. It usually doesn't rain that badly here in Southern California anyway, so just make sure you bring appropriate gear for rainy weather. So for Walt Disney World, there are 4 races they have each year. One in January, one in February, one in April, and then one in November. Pretty much expect the unexpected. Weather at Walt Disney World can be very unpredictable. It is also generally very humid. Probably the coldest time of the year really ever is January, but just prepare for all types of weather. You never know, it could be cold in the morning, but then it could be sticky and humid by 7 a.m. So when it comes to thunderstorms, they will usually cut the race short just because for safety reasons. And if that's the case, you'll still get your medal, but instead of doing a half marathon, you might end up only doing 6 miles. They might also change the start time of the race, so just kind of keep an eye out for that. They usually will send alerts. So let's go over important items to pack for your race. Of course, first thing first, sneakers. Next, your race outfit. Any accessories you need on race day, like a hat, visor, headband, and of course, sunglasses, running glasses. I actually use Oakley Transition. I've been pretty much using them for years, and they're the most comfortable glasses to wear when running. Hair ties, bring extra. I was actually training at Huntington Beach a couple months ago, and it was very windy, and my hair tie basically snapped. So I basically had to wear my hair through this hole the entire rest of the run. So yeah, not good times at all. So when it comes to layering pieces during the race, weather can be a little unpredictable in Disneyland and Disney World, and especially when you're in your corral very early in the morning, it's pretty cold. So one thing I've seen people wear is that they like to bring trash bags, and they basically cut a hole in the top and then put it on themselves like a poncho. And as the race goes on and they start to warm up, they basically just take it off and throw it away. One thing I prefer to do actually is to wear a long sleeve. This is pretty light, it's not too bulky, and it's just enough to keep me warm while I'm waiting in my corral. When the race starts and it gets pretty warm, then I can just take it off and then just tie it around my waist. I just prefer to have something multi-purpose like this. Even when I'm training in Southern California, when it gets to the colder months, I tend to pretty much just wear this on. I just pretty much tend to wear this anyway, and it's just good enough. You will also need headphones, earbuds. Technically, Run Disney prefers you don't wear headphones just because in case they need to make any announcements. These are Open Run Pro Shocks. For anyone who's never heard of this brand before, they're basically bone conduction headphones. You put them on over your earlobe, and this actually doesn't go inside your ear. The part that basically blasts out the music rests against your cheek and temple, so it never goes inside your ear. So you can still hear what's going on around you as well as the music that's coming out of it. Actually, funny story about the reason why I got these. I bought these, I want to say a little over a year ago. I thought I was losing my hearing in my right ear. I actually used to work at an office where I would put headphones to kind of help me get through the workday, and I thought I was losing my hearing. I was actually lying down on my left side in my living room, and I discovered that I could not hear very clearly out of my right ear, that a lot of sound was muffled entering my right ear, so I thought I was losing my hearing. Well, as it turns out, it was one of those where I was just recovering from a really bad head cold and bad allergies, and I was super congested everywhere. So it was one of those where luckily I wasn't really losing my hearing, but I ended up buying these because I didn't want to make it worse. And I really like these headphones. They've actually been a sponsor at a couple Run Disney races. They've been an exhibitor as well at the expo. So if you're interested in trying them out, I recommend them. So a couple items I don't have here, but they're actually pretty good to bring on race day. One would be a running belt if you prefer to have something to hold your ID, your phone, any gels, little snacks, whatever you need to help you on the course. For shorter races, I prefer not to wear anything like that because you are going to go through security, and so the less you bring, the better. And the other item would be an interval timer. There's a timer that you can buy that you can clip to your shirt, clip to your waist. So you can program the timer to go off based on the running intervals you have set for your fitness level. I actually use an interval timer app on my phone, and this is where the headphones will come in. So whatever interval timer works for you, don't forget to bring it. If you don't use an interval timer and say you have a running app that talks to you, don't forget to download that program. There's a decent amount of like 5K, 10K, long runs that you can download and listen to. There's music on the course to kind of help you, but not all the time. Not all parts of the course will have speakers connected, so you might be kind of running in silence for a little bit. Oh, and so standard disclaimer, anything I talk about, I'm not sponsored. It's just something that I've been using for several years or several months, and I really enjoy using these products. When it comes to hydration, nutrition, and certain recovery methods, especially if you have had injuries in the past, definitely consult a professional when it comes to those things. So with that being said, when it comes to hydration, these are hydration tablets. You can buy them from any Walmart, Target, any of those stores, and you basically drop a tablet in 18 ounces of water and let it dissolve and then drink it, and then that kind of helps get you some electrolytes in. I prefer this one. It has different flavors. This one is watermelon, it's got fruit punch, it's it's some citrus flavors, and it doesn't have as much sugar. Sometimes I think some hydration tablets or powders have too much sugar, but it's sweet but not too sweet. I found that I actually have to up my hydration about a day or two before the race, especially if I'm racing in Disney World, because it is more humid there. I don't react really well to running in humidity, so it takes me a little bit to adjust to it. I found I actually have to drink a little more before my race. So any post-race snacks, whatever you want to bring. I like a little sweet treat. I usually like to eat something a little on the sweeter side. This is a biscuit with chocolate on it. Whatever works for you. It's kind of like a little treat after your race. But Run Disney does have a box of snacks, usually a banana, and they also give you some water, but they also have some post-race snacks that they can give you. Oh, and if you're doing longer distances, gels, for sure, bring those. So when it comes to support, whatever wraps you need, consult a professional when it comes to those. But a popular item is kinesiology tape. Popular brand is KT Tape, and they have actually been at the expo. So representatives from KT Tape will wrap you before the race. The only thing is that the lines tend to get pretty crowded, so I recommend waiting till like the end of the day. Usually it's not as crowded when it comes to getting taped up, and the tape usually will last about 2 days, so if you need to shower, don't worry about it, you can still leave it on. But if in case you can't wait for someone to wrap you, there's some good tutorials online how to wrap yourself with kinesiology tape, so I definitely recommend looking those up. So when it comes to recovery, again, consult a professional. But one item that is constantly in my bag when I am traveling is this travel size Theragun. It's compact, travel friendly. If I need to charge it, I can easily charge it by USB. But basically this has been in my travel kit, regardless if I'm doing a race or not. Even if I'm traveling, say around Asia or Europe and I need something to massage my feet, I'll bring this to, or my legs after, you know, a whole day of walking, I'll bring this, and it's really handy to have. So it definitely helps in recovery. Before I had this is actually kind of a new addition. I had this for maybe a little less than 2 years. But before I had this, when I was doing Run Disney, I actually had a compact foam roller stick. It actually was like it was about this long, and you basically use it like a rolling pin when you roll out on all your muscles. 2 other items I have for recovery are essential oil and then a balm for muscles. I want to make sure I pronounce these right. So these are Ho'omana oils. This one is Royal Mana oil, this is Koalihuna oil, and this is Ha'ola oil. I actually found this vendor in Hilo. I was attending a hula festival, and the woman who makes these, it's an old family recipe of essential oils, carrier oils, and herbs. It's a topical oil that you put on yourself wherever you need it. So she would tell me, based on, you know, whatever ailment I had, I would tell her, oh, what if I have sore muscles here? What if I have a headache? What if I have carpal tunnel? So she would basically kind of give me a little like cocktail. So she'd say 2 drops of this, 3 drops of this, and then just apply as needed. And the good thing about these is that they don't have a strong smell and they don't stain. And these have worked really well for me. So another item I like to use for recovery, this is actually a new item. I started using this a couple months ago, and there's Zen Sport Balm. So this one I actually came across the Disneyland Halloween Marathon Weekend Health Expo, and I want to make sure I get the name of this right. So this one is Narayani oil, and they have different scents like coconut, they also have lavender, and these are pretty strong in smell. It's not overbearing, but it is strong at first, and a little goes a long way, so don't put too much, and you start to feel this pretty quickly once you apply it. I've applied it after sore muscles, after a long run, or after kickboxing, and it definitely helps in getting the circulation. Another item to bring, any, of course, pain meds that help you get through the run, but another item too that I like to bring is herbal tea, especially that helps with inflammation, that I found taking that helps, especially the older I've gotten, the longer it can take me to recover sometimes. So I have to be very mindful when it comes to certain activities. So I definitely recommend putting your items in a packing cube. That way everything stays organized. And the nice thing about putting everything in the packing cube is that when you check into your hotel, you can literally just take it out of your carry-on or luggage, just set it aside, and then you know that everything is all ready for you on race day, no worries. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. This is Monistat Care. It's basically a chafing relief gel. So, you know, apply it where you need it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and share any of your packing tips, and I will see you in the next video for race weekend.